Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. And hello, everybody. So glad to have you here. Another amazing Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. And we're here to talk about, man, how do we get out of our own way? Let's talk about the physics of that, eh? You know, like there's a lot of talk about we've got to be like this, we got to be like that, and for good or bad, the ideas, right? Like, oh, this sounds like a good idea. I probably better be like this, or oh, I better not be like this, or you know, all these different ideas and how we twist in this way and that way, and we sabotage and we blow up stuff, and we have all kinds of stories and concepts, and you know, we say we want to go this way, then we go the other way, and we're like, I chose this other way. Well, Jennifer is a very, very beautiful, fun-filled teacher, and also very, very powerful in her teaching, very smart, and I can't wait to have her share with you how to really let go, how to really allow yourself to start manifesting a joyful, blissful next level. She's all about that, and I'm really excited to share her with you today. We're going to get into it in just a moment. Do you want to meditate and make money? Let it be simple. Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation today. All right, Jennifer, glad to have you here today. This is going to be amazing.
I'm excited to be here, and thank you for having me, Daniel. So good.
Yeah, I mean, we know you're a powerhouse, so we're going to have all kinds of incredible new insights and awakenings, even I want to say, during this show for everybody. So let's go ahead and share a little bit about you with the audience. Jennifer Hough is the president of the Wide Awakening. She's been with the Wide Awakening for a while now, and I'm just so grateful for that. She's the author of a new book called UNSTUCK and the founder of the Largest Integrative Nutrition Practice in Canada, and founded the first mentorship program for complementary entrepreneurs over 2 decades ago. She is an expert in practical applied physics. Oh my God, all these things, right? She has mentored doctors, executives, thought leaders globally. Her passion is to make physics practical after working with mystics, scientists, and shamans from 8 different countries to free herself of her own struggle with chronic fatigue and self-sabotage. I love that she puts that right in a bio. How awesome is that? She's been on international stages, radio, television, and podcasts, and is the co-author of countless books and articles. So again, Jennifer, it's just so great to have you. And
it's great to be here.
It's been decades in the making. It's been a while in the making. I remember one time.
Where you been?
On a show. Well, we were going to have you on a show a long time ago, and something weird happened. It didn't happen, and we won't get into that today. But I'm grateful that we're came together now. I always know there's a reason for everything.
Yeah,
timing is now. It's time to get out of our own way and let the magic flow, right, Jennifer?
Well, it's a crazy world, and all of the things that are going on in the world are so polarizing. It's easy to sabotage yourself now just by letting yourself get entangled with the sideism and the you know, the duality and the rightness and wrongness, and there's so much stuff to distract us from that calling that we have inside, that calling that won't leave us alone, you know.
Exactly. And that's what's going on for the people listening in. They got a calling, and it's like, how deeply are we listening to that, or are we being distracted, like you said? So, you know, you mentioned in the bio about going through chronic fatigue and self-sabotage and everything. I thought that might be a good place to start, is because I'm sure that was all the part of the genesis for the work you're doing today. So tell us about that. What's been going? Que pasa? What's been going on? What
Well, I kind of started. It's interesting. One of our most advanced programs called Flight School, we start with a question. This is a really good question, Daniel. This is a good question. Are you really choosing to be here fully in a body on a planet? Are you really choosing to be here? And I realized just the other day that I came in with that choice because I had a temperature that should have killed me. And God bless Saint Mom. You know, my mom is so amazing. And I didn't die. And what ended up happening is I could feel that it's like, okay, I know this is going to be a crazy lifetime. I know there's going to be lots of polarity. Do I really choose to be here? So, and I've had 3 opportunities to do that in my life, to fully choose to be here where I almost died. I had viral meningitis where I almost died. So, and yet another time where I almost fell off a cliff. Is that crazy? Like, seriously, I almost
Yeah.
fell off a
Wow.
cliff. That's a whole other story. But but the point is this: when I had chronic fatigue, it's because I got exposed. That was an almost time of dying. That would been a 4th one, quite frankly. I exposed myself to some toxic fumes because I was in my 20s and I had to finish the bottom of my boat. I don't say finish the bottom of my boat because I was a rich 25-year-old. It's because I was living on my sailboat and the bank owned it. And so I did not have enough money otherwise I should have paid someone, because it's a dangerous thing to do. But in my 28-year-old wisdom, I thought, oh, I could do it. Didn't wear the suit you're supposed to wear or the gear you're supposed to wear. And I exposed myself to cuprous oxide amongst other things, and I should have died. It's how I got into holistic nutrition.
Mm.
So the story of the bridge between, you know, I went to university for economics, accounting, social psychology, and 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 it's quite a leap to be someone who sees the world and life holographically. Even me looking at you right now, sometimes I shock myself because I'm looking at you and I can tell that you are aligned with your purpose, because with people who are continuing to expand into their purpose and always looking for how can I serve others more, I always see a certain thing in their forward trajectory and in their history, and you've got that thing. So how that ended up happening is I had to become a holistic nutritionist, and I wasn't holistic or woo-woo or crunchy granola at all. So I had to do that because after going to many doctors and having yeast issue after yeast issue and having migraines and having welts come out, you know, was horrible. Doctors don't deal with toxicity. It's not their fault. They're just not trained in it. And I found a holistic nutritionist in a chiropractor's office one day, and we ended up talking, and basically Leslie saved my life. And so I ended up taking that and growing the largest holistic nutrition practice in Canada. And then one day I had a woman come in with migraines, and I was down to about a third of the migraines that I used to get. And I knew they could all go away. I knew that anyone could heal from anything because I started studying epigenetics and all sorts of stuff like that. And I got very passionate about the field. And this woman came in with her husband. She told me that her husband made her come to see me because they had heard good things. And the reason my nutrition practice was thriving is because I started being able to see, medically, intuitively, sort of, but really what I was doing is holographically seeing someone's body, but their whole future and all their past lives. So as I was doing that, I looked at her and my eyeballs kind of went rot-row, because he knew she could get better, but so listen, it's just so crazy. She could get better. He was right, but she refused because she was too busy. So she was adopted. Her mother was I can talk about her because she's passed. She was adopted. Her mother was a heroin addict, and her mother had the presence of mind to be able to give her to a family who adopted her. And she had the most amazing family, like incredible family. It was cosmic, it was divine order. But this woman who was given away to this family, she resented her mother for not getting her act together. And instead of such an easy switch, right? Just to go into gratitude for this family she grew up in. Her righteousness trumped her, and it manifested in a brain tumor. And I knew when I saw her with migraines, and I was a specialist in migraines because I had to heal myself. And when I saw her, I knew right away, that's the first time I really started getting major information about people and understanding the choices that they make affect everything in their future. And so I knew she would pass away within the month, and she did. She passed in 2 weeks. And her husband was devastated, but I knew for me, I had to be willing to make myself vulnerable to the entire universe. And I had to fully choose to be here and not know anything. And that's when the migraines that I used to get completely disappeared. So I got information from my own self that had it disappear. So from there, I developed Get Out of Your Own Way and all these other things. And now we take people on the journey of embodiment, meaning the embodiment of the codes and the operating system to live by going direct with all of consciousness, rather than having to go on the roller coaster of excavating yourself the rest of your life. So yeah, so that's the story in a nutshell.
That's great. Oh, wow. That's pretty powerful. I mean, very whatever cosmic galactic being you are, and we're going to some economics and all that stuff.
It's pretty weird. It's pretty weird. Well, I think a lot of the most formidable, really most power, like a lot of the teachers that we bring into flight school, very powerful people who are ridiculously called by the reason they were born, especially in these times of great change. Right. I think one of the things they have in common is this left brain life that predated the right, that and so they have that fully integrated left brain and right brain thing going on. Mm-hmm. And they want to, it helps, right? Because if you have the experience in the 3D world, mm-hmm. To be able to be that connected while being in 3D and to be able to build that bridge, it makes it easier to make the difference that you came here to make, right? Yeah. So there's a purpose for having both that left and that right.
Yeah, a lot of people who are more grounded and more already 5D and everything, but they never really grounded into the 3D.
Yeah.
They can't get anything going, right? Where
it's hard.
It seems to be easier for people that at least had some grounding with the 3D and maybe had success in, in the 3D world and 4D or whatever, and then, drop them into 5D and they really get connected with that. Boom. Okay. Now things really can expand big time.
Well, I think that's where the embody, I was just talking to someone the other day and we were laughing because I said, we can embody lots of things. You've probably embodied how to ride a bicycle, right? It's like you could hop on anyone's bike and figure it out in a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's an embodiment thing where you just know what you're doing. For me, there's this bridge. So we talk a lot about ascension and ascension. I don't actually talk about ascension in these times of great change. This is, again, it's one of those paradigm shifts about the work that we do. It's not about ascension. It's actually about descending the codes that allow us to be three-dimensional, but multi-dimensional at the same time. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, 100%. So I agree. Yeah.
The codes upgrade the DNA. Mm-hmm. The codes upgrade our DNA to be able to bring through what I call innate abilities, our basic, when years ago, I think 15 years ago, I was actually bringing through human superpowers and that there was DNA for that. That's like a long time ago. And we got a lot of very leading edge people through. And what happened was, because I didn't know what I was, a lot of times people like us, we don't know what we're doing, right? It's like, what the heck am I doing? I don't know. I know I'm supposed to do it, but I don't know what to call it, And so I noticed that that's what it would do, to be able to ground these incredible powers we have as human beings by being able to apply them to our real life and our family and our children and our sweetie pies and our work. To be able to use multidimensional tools is not only, like, people tell, oh, that's such a competitive advantage. I'm like, competitive advantage? It's the way we were born. We were
Right.
supposed to have these amazing superpowers that allow us to operate as nature does in full overflow.
Mhm.
And so, it's time for that. I mean, listen, I talked about the polarity earlier. If everyone actually had embodied, had descended those codes and had their abilities fully functioning, we wouldn't be running around pointing fingers at other people about how they're taking our power away or how they are the reason for our misery. That applies to anything from a relationship to a world war,
Mhm.
right? If you think that someone else is the reason why you're not happy or fulfilled, then you're going to get yourself in trouble and there's going to be conflict.
Right.
And if you can actually own your superpowers, you can transcend the need to ever put it on someone else, because you will, there in the universe, in our way of working, there's always a way. There's always 1,000 other ways around what you see in front of you. And most of those things that are conflicts are simply catalysts for creativity. And
Mhm.
if we can look at everything as though, and everyone's heard this a million times, but it really is happening for you. You are the universe incarnate, and it can't happen. The universe is trying to expand itself through you. So there's always a way, because that's why you were born. And so everything is happening for you, which means be vigilant for the creativity that's needed in order to go to your next, evolution. So that you can thrive and pay it forward.
Yeah, I guess the thing where people get locked in is the training of like, no, just focus your mind on what you want, and the usual LOA principles. Like even at that level, just willpower it up, just get into action. We know it's like there's countless, countless videos and messages of like the idea of being the hardest woman or hardest working woman or man in the room, and we're gonna blow everybody out of the water because we're such warriors in that way, and taking us away from the idea of uh, connecting with the multidimensional, or however we want to talk about it, but like, yeah, harnessing that deeper chi, or again, there's a million different ways of looking at it, talking about it. But like we're told, no, that we can't trust that. Don't trust that. Don't trust that intuition. Don't trust
Even religions say that, right?
right. Even
Yeah.
religion for that too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You can't trust I went to a church recently. I was actually there's not too many great churches nearby to go in person. So we're like, oh, it's Christmas. Let's go Christmas Day. Let's go check it out. This place, it sounded pretty cool. And it was great at first. They like have a theater and rock bands and everything. And we're like, well, we like this church, and also the minister gets up. He's like, there's nothing but darkness and all you is God, and that's it, and Jesus, and you can't ever possibly intuit or feel anything, basically, is what he said. I mean, almost verbatim. And I was like, oh my God, there's people that believe in this and actually are still teaching these things.
Mhm.
To me, being in the light worker community is like really mind-blowing. It's these ideas are really sticky still.
Well, yeah. And, when I used to look at, listen, law of attraction, even the movie from way back when, it catalyzed millions, hundreds of millions of people to even consider
Yeah.
that there's another level of existence. The thing is, we're mostly made up of that other level of existence, right? We're mostly made up of that multi-dimensional. It's just so interesting to me. We are mostly made up of the space between the atoms, not the atom itself. And the place where everything manifests from is from the pure potential of the space between the atoms. And we're mostly made of that. So if we consider it, scientifically speaking, we're in a dimension we call 3D. Who knows for consciousness? That's just our label for stuff, dimensions. It's not like the dimensions are separate from each other. They all work with each other. But people think of them like dimensions, like they don't work with each other, but all of the dimensions work together. You can't be in 3D it's not like we get to 5D, but we don't exist in 3D.
I'm only in 3D right now.
That's right. That's right. As you embody as you embody the operating system of 5D, you're still in 3D.
Right, exactly.
So
Everybody wants to escape 3D in the
exactly.
Let me get to 5D. Let's ascend. Let's get the hell out of here.
Exactly.
We choose to be here. You're meant to be here. You got to.
We're creators. Exactly. But we're like this little pinpoint. We're this little tiny speck that's in the Aldi, right? We're this little tiny speck in 3D that's actually bringing through Aldi.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And so if you imagine, and then to get even more crazy, this is the physics that I love. This is just like the juice to me, because to me, this is the basis for how we can there's lots of how to not sabotage yourself books. For me, it's kind of like law of attraction. It's like a how-to step-by-step in 3D when you're trying to get a multi-D solution. And so I was looking at what would be the thing that would cause a permanent cellular shift. How can you permanently be both in 5 and 3? And how can you create upon creation and experience abundance and experience ridiculous intimacy, right? So there I am going, well, this LOA stuff is interesting. I know it's opening minds, but it's got to be way bigger than this. So then, I'm listening to Nassim Haramein one day, and who's just the coolest, a physicist. And I had already seen holographically that at the basis of our atoms, in order to explain the formula that Einstein was trying when he was dying, he really wanted to do the formula that actually explained existence, but he didn't quite get it done. So Nassim was working on it. And at the basis of each of our atoms, protons, the basis is actually a black hole, a vacuum that's much like the universe itself. So imagine that the very universe that we're in is also at the same time at the basis of every one of our atoms. So we're in the universe that's also at the basis of our atoms. Like, try that mind bender for a second. Right? Yeah, and so when we say we are that, or I am, it's like the scientific explanation for the I am. Of course you are. Mm-hmm. And then when we get granular about this universe and you're in 3D, et cetera, of course it's all happening for you. How could it not happen for you? At the basis of your very atoms is the universe itself. Doy, right? And so all of a sudden it hit me, and I thought to myself, what are the skills? Like, what do we do? How do we be? And I had to let go of everything I knew then, right? I had to let go of everything I knew, even how I grew my business. I don't know about you. I do not know about you, but I could no longer grow my business according to the scripts and the web marketing people, and it doesn't work for people like us. It works. You could use pieces of it. Yeah. But we kind of have to figure out our own way, because there's an authenticity that has to be integrated into it. We're actually just doing a whole rework of that ourselves, because I thought to myself, it's still too cold. I mean, I'm not a cold person, but it's still too formulas bug me.
Yeah, well, it comes down to the basic of what we all say is like, if it doesn't align with you, your energy and all that,
Yeah.
it's not going to work no matter how great a system it is, because you'll be like, I don't really want this. Like, I
Yeah.
don't really want this. I want to do it the way that feels true for me. I want to live my truth, right? I
Yeah.
want to do it the way that feels good for me in the world.
Yeah. I recently I was coaching someone who's super well known. And she her her marketing stuff wasn't working anymore. And neither was what she was teaching, which was a really big deal because she had a multi-million-dollar company. So you can imagine, like, it started to, and she's a powerhouse. And for me, it's just really interesting. The faster your current moves, the more when you're out of alignment with yourself, it's brutal, right? Because we have this, as human beings, this is one of the ways we sabotage ourselves. We have this idea that nothing is ever supposed to change, right? Nothing is ever supposed to change. And because we have this idea, or we're trying to formulate something that'll last, that'll just be predictably awesome. But the problem is consciousness is already shifting. And if we're doing consciousness work, you have to be an expert at changing with the shifting times and even evolving your way of, like, I don't know about you, but for me, I'm constantly looking at ways to evolve the way we evolve, because I think it can be much like, I remember hearing neuro-linguistic programming saying that it takes, and I know a lot of them have changed a little bit since then, but it takes 3 weeks before you can actually shift the brain into creating a new habit. And I'm like, that's because you're shifting beliefs. And one of the things we started to look at is, what if you changed the entire paradigm and we actually looked at the physics of it rather than the biology of it? Let's go to let's go to a smaller particle. And if we can shift the physics of how you plug into life, your essence wouldn't even find that old pattern of thinking anymore. And you can shift it in an instant instead of taking 3 weeks. And so, so this whole thing around business and changing, the faster you move, the harder the fall if you don't pay attention. We cannot take our evolution for granted at this point. And it requires more consciousness, not less. It requires more. And I don't say that from the Enlightenment Olympics point of view. It's actually the opposite. It's like, it takes more vulnerability and more not knowing, like making yourself be facilitated by all of consciousness and dropping the needing to prove piece, so that we can receive what we're missing, right? So
yeah, I mean, all that makes sense to me, at the level that makes sense to me. And I just feel like, yeah, there's a lot of plastic paradigms, right? This
yep.
is how we've always done it. This is the way it always be. These are immutable laws. I love that when somebody says something's an immutable law. I'm like, I'm not so sure about that.
Like, what does that mean? Right? What is an immutable? What is it? Is there really any law that doesn't evolve with our evolution? I'm not sure.
Right. Yeah. Because the minute they think, my dad said something that was really cool way back in the 70s when I was a kid. That's when I was a kid, during the 70s. And he said, when they're talking about, oh yeah, they're learning all these new things about dinosaurs and how they were and everything. And he said, yeah, that's what they're saying now. It'll change. Like,
Yeah.
he said a lot of wise things. Things that I thought were beyond his time in certain moments. I'm like, he really was. I didn't believe him. I'm like, as kids, we tend to believe these things, right? Whatever comes up. Oh, the science says this must be it. This must be it. And I am meaning to be controversial here. Like, yeah, the science says, the science won't always say that, does not say that in every case. you know, I'm much more of a fan of quantum physics. So the observer informs the science, you know, like
Yes.
what are you looking for? You'll find it eventually. I always tell people when you do experiments,
True.
right? You might have done some in your studies too with social psychology and all that. While I was clinical psychology, we'd go in, we'd do an experiment, it'd be like, oh, we did the numbers and the statistics. It didn't come out the way we wanted. Oh, no problem. Let's run it again. Let's do it this way. Run the numbers
Which is
another way or do
insane, right?
it again until we prove what the hell we want to prove. People, wake up. This is how it works. This is what the scientific community does. They only publish the shit that they want you to see. That's how it works. I'm sorry. It just is. Just is. So thanks, Jennifer, for holding a space for me to be that blunt. Like, just it is, get over it. Wake up.
Yeah.
There's a deeper truth that Jennifer's pointing to right here.
Yeah. Well, here's one that shocked me. So as I was looking at, here, I'll give you an easy law of attraction one. So so people talk about law of attraction, and you intend and you think and you work hard and you change your energy and you be a better receiver and all that stuff. So someone comes into a course one day and she said, oh my God, my son found my old vision board. And this is from 5 years ago. And I realized, look, that red Ford truck, I got the exact I own that red truck now. Look at that. I manifested it. And I'm like, And she said, why do you say it like that? I said, well, let's have a little moment right now, because what I'm being shown is just really fun. She said, what? I said, well, your greater consciousness, your deeper wisdom, all that is the rest of you, gave you the magazine with the picture because the Ford truck was already coming, because that's how much the universe has your back.
Right.
You don't need to friggin' intend. It's already happening. The fact that you could put it on a board means that it's already possible and even probable, unless you get in your way.
Exactly. See, I don't get in my way. Like I've said this so many times here and everywhere. My following is like, oh, here we go again. But like, I am the most magical manifester at restaurants, right? I just have in my mind, I want whatever I want. I want a steak. I want this dessert. I want this or that. But I might not always order it. But I'm really clear in the moment, like it comes to me. Oh yeah, how about one of these? Then I order the other thing.
Yeah.
What do they bring me? They bring me this thing that just came to me so clearly. They just put it on. They just bring it to me, and so that happens so many times. It's like universe is saying, "See how this works? Go with just let it happen. The things that were given to you, just relax. Let it come in. You know, it's we've got great things to share with you if you just relax and let it happen." That's what I feel like you're kind of saying here, right? I mean, it's like relax, like, you know, to some degree, anyway, right?
To some degree, but there are some operating principles to being that way. Because if you are really going to relax and let in everything, if you were really going to relax and let in everything, your body wouldn't be able to take it. So because it's too much. It's, you know, consciousness will give you the world. It also knows what you can handle. That is true. But let me give you a couple of examples of we call it the thriving operating system. So in the thriving operating system, for instance, you don't go and meditate. The aim is to actually become a walking meditation. You embody that you walk and you receive at the same time. There's no distinction between the two. You become because isn't that why we meditate in the first place? To receive answers. Well, isn't the evolution of that to become the walking version of that fully embodied? So that would be one. Another principle would be that, well, we already talked about that it's not about ascension. You chose to be in a body on a planet. It's about descend. It's that we forget that we're all of that. And it's about descending the codes that actually upgrade the three-dimensional biology to be able to capacitate dancing with all that is, being able to create whatever we want. because we're creation, you know, it's awesome. So another one is that, that there, I'm not even going to say that one. I'm going to use another one. The other one needs too big of a context. So that to the degree that you're vigilant for what's possible, you're vigilant for what's happening for you, you're vigilant for all the things that you're manifesting. It is a direct reflection. It's equal to the degree to which you believe that anything is possible. So you're only vigilant for that which you think is possible. So you'll stop yourself at that glass ceiling, which is why it's so important to work with people who have the experience of going beyond, you know, the glass ceiling that you have, because you get upgraded to their codes. That's why having brilliant friends is awesome, or a brilliant guide or a brilliant coach or whatever the case may be. So there isn't anything that isn't possible. Everything's possible, but sometimes you have an embodied, and also consciousness won't deliver to you anything that your physicality hasn't upgraded to be able to dance with. That's why you see a lot of people like us. It's like, I want to have my sweetie pie of a lifetime. I want to, I want to be with this person, blah, 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 blah. But there are things yet to upgrade to. And also on the other side, sometimes that sweetie pie has to upgrade, and everything happens on cosmic timing. None of it happens on your timing. You can make it happen on your timing, but it's not going to end well. So, on it, it's other laws, like actually I had this up from a program. I just noticed I had it up. Consciousness created a planet, right? The planet of which, and then somehow evolved into having living life forms. And then at the basis of the living life form that is you, that has a toroidal field generating your life. Well, that toroidal field comes from all that. It's just a microcosm of the greater toroidal field. It's just a subset, right? And then in there are your atoms, which also have a toroidal field, but in there is the entire universe itself. So by your awareness and by your evolution, you're constantly upgrading the awareness of creation. So we're in this endless feedback loop. What are the implications of all those ideas? And how do we operate differently, knowing that this is not a survival-based universe? This is not a limited resource-based universe. This is a you could have anything you want based universe, right? And then how do you run a business that way? And then how do you get healthy that way? And then how do you change your marketing that way? And then how do you upgrade everything that way? How can you have your cosmic age run your life rather than your survival-based genetics run your life? The whole operating system, right?
Yeah. Because we got the survival-based stuff, which is huge, and a lot of that informs like the entire pain body, right? That's what people call a pain body. And then all that often informs then how we perceive how we're inadequate, and what do you need to do to be adequate. You need that course, you need this, you need that. This is what's going to make it happen for you. And most of the time it's not, most of the time it's just you just get hooked.
Well, it's so funny because when I just, I got shown this stuff in a series of Wakened Dreams. It wasn't even from another teacher. I've met lots of teachers that see this too, which I love. But I remember when I first got it, it's like, am I like crickets? Does anyone else, like that's pretty huge, So now I've been spending my whole life analyzing the living daylights out of my belief systems and how come I don't feel good enough and why I'm not worthy. And oh yes, I definitely felt that way. And still have a couple of foibles still, it's never ending. Right. So I went, all right. Well, I feel like now that I understand physics, I can't spend the rest of I understand that's who I am.
Right.
Well, geez, I can't spend the rest of my life analyzing why I'm not that. I just want to learn how to be that. And then, of course, as you embody that, your frequency goes up and all of those things that you've been analyzing start to you start to gain a perspective on them that has them transmute without you even having to look at it, without spiritually bypassing, of course.
Right. Right.
But you start being able to see everything from when you see things from the point of view of physics, it transcends the just really arduous slogging of working through things mentally from the same vibration that got you there. Right.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say get in a high vibe, including myself, right? Like, oh, let's go to love and above and all this stuff. But I think what you're doing that's different than a lot of other people is you're really like helping people to understand things on a mental level, but also to bring them into the energy of it and to be able to go into the beyond space that really translates into more mystical awareness.
Yes.
Really, right? Then like just do this. This makes it happen, or whatever.
Yeah. Because once you can embody this stuff, you have the same experience. Yet you start seeing it's like, oh, okay, my business has a life. Like your podcast has its own life.
Yes.
It has its own life. It has a life of its own. It's an essence. It's an idea that you brought into 3D, and now it wants to live. It wants to keep going. It wants to find new ways to express itself. Every idea is like that, right? So it's almost like we have to keep up with our ideas because our ideas don't have any, any things stopping them. They're not going to, the ideas aren't going to sabotage themselves. So even that calling that we feel inside, that's like, God, I got to do more. There's something else I can do, or there's a greater contribution I can make. That calling is all the ideas we've launched into motion and all of the people who've catalyzed into the field. Like, I would love to never have to feel this way again. I would love to never have a world war again. I'd love to never blah, blah, blah again, So all these prayers go into the field and they call forth the ideas that you have. So there are people waiting for you, and the people that are waiting for you are part of the sense of urgency. So not only are the ideas calling you, but also the people that launched the problems that caused you to catch up with the solutions are also calling you.
Right.
So it's a real thing. It's not some fluffy, in physics, it's a real thing. So, and we get to do that. We don't have to do it, but we get to do it.
Yeah, you've got a really deeper perspective on things than a lot of people are sharing about. That I really appreciate. I know our time is limited here.
Yes.
So when this stupid 3D world I can't stand, I want to escape in a second.
Time schmime.
I know
it's a construct, damn it.
That I just said that you're right. I don't. So, but how can people learn more about what you're sharing? I know you have the book you wanted to share with everybody and everything. You want to tell them about that now?
Sure. Unstuck is a book that got birthed from exactly this work. I wanted to make sure that people understood the paradigm shifts that are available for them and give them like exercises that they could do to start the process of embodiment and to feel what it's like to just transcend the need to argue with life anymore.
Yeah.
And as an embodied state, as a permanent cellular shift. So that's what the book is about. They can get it at the Wide Awakening /Unstuck. You'll see a link to go and get the book on Amazon. But more importantly, what's there is we just did a workshop, a free workshop. Usually we would charge like $500, $600 for this workshop about your superpowers and all the superpowers that were birthed because of what's going on right now. And that workshop is available when you buy the book. So it's super groovy, cool. You'll get emails with that recording. So yeah.
Awesome. I've already opted in for all the goodies and everything.
Yay.
So forward to checking all that out. And So I'm sure if people are feeling the calling to do so, they'll check that out, and you can use the links that are in the show notes. Or do you have a place where they could easily find it that you can tell them about?
Yeah, you can find us at thewideawakening.com, as I said, /unstuck for the book and all that kind of stuff. And if you want an example of you're going to get an example of work because you're going to get innate abilities by buying the book. But if you just want to go direct to some, what I call brain bridges, they're ways of causing permanent cellular shifts. You can go to thewideawakening.com /3 days, the number 3 days. And of course, I'm on Facebook and all Instagram and all those kinds of things too. So
Great. Awesome. Well, before we wrap up, I'd like to do a little bit of tuning in, my energy scanning with my guests. You ready to receive a couple of downloads?
Oh, I would love that. Yay. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So let me just tune in, see what wants to be shared. Hold on. Showing me, they're telling me persevere. So take this in or not. I know some people are like, don't tell me that, create my own reality. I'm not sure if you're one of those people. Coming in. So what I get is a sense of there may be momentary like upheaval coming, I probably already know this, but like a momentary upheaval coming up for you and on your path, but that, you're going to expand again. You're going to expand further, but there's this upheaval that's coming in the near future. I didn't get a date, but I just got this sense of upheaval. They're like, just breathe, this is going to expand. It really is. It's going to be huge and something like that. So that was the first one. Let me see what else comes through. Interesting. So I'm getting it's showing me you with the healing energy, and I hear pyro master. So I'm not quite sure. The way I'm sort of translating it is like you've got maybe more fire energy to bring into the world. Maybe you've got kind of this centered, deep, powerful energy, but then more this quality of maybe this fire coming through, and helping people to dance with the fire. Everybody just thinks they're going to get burned, right? Like they're just going to die in the fire, but like to catalyze that and to use that. So that was another one. Let's see what else is coming through. I don't know. I know you got the Wide Awakening. I wonder if you use a brand called Mystic Wide Awake, because that's what they said. They said Mystic Wide Awake. So I kind of wonder about that. So let me see if I get any more information on that real quick. Yeah, they're kind of showing me the like that Edgar Casey kind of vibe, like where your head's down, you're like on a book or something. I don't even know the Edgar Casey method, but I know it's something like that. But it kind of got that vibe, and like things just are pouring in through you. So you have I guess it's a sense of like there's more that you can learn to harness. Like maybe it's literally from books too. I don't know, but like literally can download so much more knowledge and information and everything. And that you already teach people to do this, but like maybe there's could be another technique or another level or another way. The brief time we have here, I just want to point to it, and I'm sure usually people like you get the rest of the instructions easily. So anyway.
Yeah, thank you for opening the door. Fantastic, Daniel. Thank you.
Sure thing. Grateful to share. And everybody, if you want to check me out, you can go to yoursacredpurpose.com, and there's still opportunities there for limited time to get energy scanning with me through application. There's also my meditation for meditate to make money. I'm losing my mind. It happens with people like you. I'm losing my mind. Okay.
Yay.
Hey, awesome.
I love it.
Have that there, and that helps you to get into that kind of energy we're describing here, where that mystical, deeper energy. Also, just to be able to open up your energies, your chakras, and do your queries and whatnot, and let more money pour into you. So check that out at yoursacredpurpose.com. Get your free meditate, make money meditation. And just to kind of wrap up, the last announcement real quick, go to Rock Your Sacred Purpose. You want to get live energy scanning from me, and here's some of the wisdom I have to share on Rocking Your Sacred Purpose. Go to Rock Your Sacred Purpose Facebook group. Mondays, 3 p.m. Central, we're live. All right. So enough of that. Let's wrap up for today. Jennifer, do you have any last quick words for the audience?
Yeah, I would say that in the world of self-sabotage, there's a phrase I use quite often in our programs. It goes something like this, that the issue is never the issue. That you think it's the issue is really the issue. So, and that you want to be right that it's the issue is really the issue. So the other side of that coin is be vigilant for why it's all happening for you. Mm-hmm. And follow those over here callings of your heart, of your guidance, of your cells. Follow that, because that's where those nonlinear results come from. And we were born to have nonlinear results, what I call or betters. That's our natural state, to live in a state of or betters. So be vigilant for them. They usually don't make any sense, but do them anyways.
Yeah, that's right. They're so fun because they don't make any sense. And usually they're very fun, often anyway. Might freak out, but they're really fun. So,
and also thank you, Daniel. Thank you for having me, and thank everybody here for being a part of this co-creative, wonderful conversation.
Thank you. Jennifer is so powerful and amazing. I'm so grateful. We're so blessed. Thank you for being on today. And thank you to our audience, for everyone tuning in. Keep on tuning in. We'll keep on rocking it here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Till next time, everyone. Goodbye for now. Listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.